So I'm walking along, I see a crowd of people, but it's clearly not just a gathering of people having fun. There's some sort of protest going on.
We walk onto Morecambe in a state of like naive enthusiasm, and all these like innocent people, like dozens of children and dogs and prams, have wandered, and then we've been disabused of our naivety. You know, we might have set out as Eric Morecambe, but we finished up as Ernie Wise.
Just a briefing of how to approach this morning. So when you get there, I'd maybe say get there about 11:45. Just assess the situation. The police are going to be there, so sort of deal with that in your head before you get there if you are worried about that. They're there to do a job. They've got to go there. Just keep on walking around the vicinity. They can't stop you when they're walking. They're not allowed to stop you, and it's very easy just to walk off. No trouble, no bother. Keep it peaceful. We can't lose, can we?
They met at one end of Morecambe Promenade, and there were people giving speeches, and there were people handing out leaflets. So there was a group of about 200 to 300 people, I would have guessed. The person who was speaking at first, the police tried to arrest him, and he ran off.
In effect, Liam wasn't arrested because while they were arresting him, we managed to create a space for him to run away. But that's led to him being rearrested, charged with assault, charged with escaping custody.
Don't be disheartened when them handcuffs get put on. Just, it's part of their game. They've got nothing else.
Find themselves on the wrong side of history. Yeah. Just like the brown shirts in the 1930s in Germany, and the black shirts that murdered the brown shirts. These are the blue shirts, and I want you to stand on notice that we care as much about you and your families as we do about ours.
Police officers like wending his way round towards me, and then I end up by cutting him off.
The time to stand against this sea of officialdom is absolutely now. No chance. I'm not interested. I want to speak to the human race.
And this other person got up. She was saying things like, "Oh, we're just going for a walk. This isn't a protest." They went for a walk. So I followed them from one end of Morecambe Bay. They were walking all the way up across, I suppose, to the east end of Morecambe from one side to the other.
The walk looked like it had resumed peaceful, and because Liam had gone, the two police officers had no target. So at that point, it's just 200 people with dogs and prams walking down the prom.
As they're there, they go along, they get to this other part, they start giving more speeches, and a guy got up, called himself the People's Lawyer, an advocate of common law. So I saw these people talking and then followed them as they walked back towards where they'd initially gathered. And then things got a little bit uncomfortable. There were about maybe 30 to 40 police waiting for them as they went back on their return journey. So seriously increased numbers. 5 to 8 of them surround this woman who'd spoken, flung around like a rag doll as far as I could see, started pushing people over. And it was the strangest thing. They seemed to be glancing round to see if they were being filmed.
So Ainé's been arrested, obviously, but I don't want people to panic and think, oh, bloody hell, none of this works. This is the police's last throw of the dice. Like, that's all they've got.
Hello, people. We are just outside Blackpool station. They've let me out.
So let me read you how that was reported in the local papers. A woman has reportedly been arrested at an anti-lockdown protest in Morecambe today. The woman had been among a crowd of around 20 protesters. So that means the crowd has shrunk from around about 200 to 300, which I saw with my own eyes, to 20 people.
Now, what's interesting about this is that the local paper wrote that only 20 people attended, and that the 20 people, it descended into bedlam after a woman was arrested. And the crowd crowded the police and shouted, "Shame on you, shame on you." The entire write-up, I think it was Lancashire Post, the entire write-up makes it sound like the crowd were causing the violence and the police were just like innocent bystanders.